We're live. Hi, everybody. My name is John. This is my partner. My dad's Mark. And we are a Spray Happiest podcast. And it is our podcast. And I have a company called Sean's Crazy Socks. And that's a name of my business. And my business mission is a Spray Happiness.
Spreading happiness. That's the mission of the business. It's the name of the podcast.
Yes.
It's what we're going to try to do. We'll spend maybe a half hour with you, 30 minutes, and try to bring a little joy, a little happiness, put a smile on your face.
Yes.
Right? And just a little bit on who we are. We are a father-son team.
Father-son business team.
You're the son, I'm the father.
I'm a son, he's the father.
Yes, we work together, and we work well together.
Yes.
Right? People always asking us, are we fighting and stuff? We don't fight, do we?
Right.
You keep me in my place.
I do, and by the way, Dad,
Yeah?
I'm young and he's old.
You are a loving son, making sure you tell me how old I am every day.
Yeah, Dad.
So we do this podcast. We started it back, we started it as a Facebook Live show back during the pandemic.
Right.
Because people were all isolated and shut down. And we had a mission to spread happiness. How could we connect with them?
We connect, and I can see other people we have, and showing them more impact and sharing the world.
Right?
And
That's connecting with people. People always said we were able to connect.
Absolutely.
Tell some stories, tell some jokes. Now, here's something we talk about a lot, we focus on. John, you're an entrepreneur, a sock tycoon.
Yes.
You're a public speaker. We do a lot of public speaking, a lot of keynote addresses.
Absolutely.
You've donated a lot of money. That makes you a philanthropist.
I love people.
You're a dancer, an athlete,
a
brother, soon to be an uncle.
I'm really excited.
And you have Down syndrome.
Yes, I am. I had Down syndrome. Down syndrome and never hold me back.
It does not. And part of what we want to do through this podcast and through our business is show what people with different abilities can do.
Absolutely.
Not in an overly pedantic way. Nothing that your mother would say, it's nothing like broccoli where your mother would say, eat this, it's good for you. It's fun.
Absolutely. It's wonderful. I love it. It's interesting.
So, we've had a good week. You've had a good week so far?
I had a pretty good week.
We're recording this on a Wednesday night.
Yes.
Last night we were up late.
Yeah, we did.
Doing a podcast interview.
Yeah, I got a podcast interview.
Where was the host? Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
Where?
Australia.
Australia. He was in Melbourne.
Yes.
So we were up at 10 o'clock at night, and it was 11 o'clock in the morning in Melbourne. The next day, I was asking him who won at Belmont. But it doesn't quite work that way.
Right.
You like that, right?
I do.
You like doing those podcast interviews?
I do. I love podcast interviews. It's wonderful. I love doing podcasts.
Well, it's a way to tell our story, right?
During our impact.
And people, when they have John on, they ask John to be charming.
Yes.
Are you charming?
Yes, I am. I'm charming. I'm adorable. I'm cute.
One of the things we always ask podcast hosts is, what can we do to be great guests?
Yes.
And one of the most common things we hear is, just be yourselves. Well, who else were we going to be?
I gave you that.
Yeah.
I'm Cher and I'm Madonna.
You're going to just change, and you would change into Cher or Madonna. You make me laugh, son.
Yes, I make Madonna laugh.
But we're always telling folks, hey, John here has no guile.
Yes.
And me, I'm too old to care. This is what you get.
Absolutely.
That's pretty good. So today, tonight, every show, we have some standard features. Later, we'll talk about a good news story.
Absolutely.
And this is a scientific discovery.
Oh, I love science.
We'll highlight a business that is owned by or focused on people with different abilities. This is a great business. I love these folks. We're going to talk about dance, design.
Oh, that's an amazing business.
We'll tell some jokes.
Yes.
You got your You got a theme? What's your theme today?
Knock
Knock knock jokes.
And
John's got a lot of
Yes.
jokes because John's writing a joke book.
I am really excited about knock jokes, and I love so excited to write as a book.
You're writing a book, John's giant book of jokes.
Giant book.
Maybe you can take it on the road. Maybe you can start.
Hit the road, Jack.
Maybe you could start a stand-up career. Stand-up comedian, would you like that?
I love that idea.
Yeah, but you know what happens if they don't like it? They throw tomatoes at it. Rotten
Dad.
tomatoes. Back in the audience, boom, boom. All right, so one of the things I want to talk to you about. Last weekend, you went on a little road trip.
I did. I went to a road trip with my mom, and I had a really nice weekend.
Well, and tonight, your brother Jamie is out at dinner with your mom. Was treating her to dinner.
Yes.
Do you think that's good? You having some weekends just you and mom together, or Jamie and mom together?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's wonderful because my mom. I actually tell you about my mom. My mom is the most funny, pitiful stepmother she is. And I should tell you that how great my mom is.
How great
And how
is she?
great my mom is. I really love she most.
What?
Really most. She loves her son. She loves her son like me, and my brother Jamie, and my brother Patrick.
She
I
does.
think that's the main thing.
And it's good you guys spending time together. So you're in Cleveland.
I did.
And John is always mixing pleasure and work, and so you're out there. You were going to visit your grandmother, and that was great. But
It's wonderful.
one of the things you did was you went to a baseball game.
Yeah, we did.
Who did you see play?
I see a Cleveland Guardians game, and Cleveland Guardians playing with one of my favorite,
Right.
and San Francisco Giants.
And why do you like the San Francisco Giants?
I love San Francisco Giants because I love San Francisco.
Okay, you've never been to San
I
Francisco.
really want to go there so
You can
bad.
start listening to Tony Bennett. I left my heart in San Francisco.
Yes, I really like one of my favorite players are the Giants.
Yes.
And my good friend, I give big shout out to my good friend, Wilmer Flores.
Wilmer Flores, ex-Met. You met him when he was on the Mets.
I
Met him a bunch of times, and his mother came to visit our offices. Remember that?
Yeah, it's amazing. I tell you really cool
Yeah.
about that. One of my favorite parts, my favorite. One of my teacher,
Yeah.
his name is Mr. Gonzalez.
Mr. Gonzalez.
He's a New York Mets fan, and he very close friend with Wilmer Flores. And guess what, Dad?
What?
I went to a ball game with Mr. Gonzalez,
And he introduced
and
you.
he introduced me Wilmer Flores.
All right.
I make me really happy.
What?
I met Wilmer Flores.
That's very cool.
So happy.
You like going to baseball games?
I do, and I love baseball games. And someday,
Yes.
I really want to do
What?
a public or a road trip or tour all around the United States or every baseball stadium.
Well, you know what? A long time ago, before you were born,
Yes.
your mom and I did that. We went on 2 different vacations. One before we had any kids, and one when Patrick was just not even a year old. It was
Right.
the first time we left him overnight. But we drove around the Midwest doing 2 things. Visiting baseball stadiums, because we love baseball.
Oh, I love baseball.
And you know what other type of place we visited? You gotta think of your mom. What does she love? Roller coasters.
Roller coaster.
So we would
That
go,
was one of my favorite.
during the day, we'd go to amusement parks, and at night, we'd go to baseball games. And so we did that twice, but we got to do it again, because a lot of the stadiums we went to are no longer there.
Right.
There are now new stadiums all over. But you like going to baseball games, huh?
Yes.
What do you like about it?
I really like the baseball game
Yeah?
that I keep the score.
So John keeps score. My dad taught me how to keep score.
Yes,
And I
absolutely.
taught you how to keep score.
My dad told me how to keep score.
So those of you who are listening can't see it, but you brought home your scorecard from the Guardians game.
Okay.
right? And everybody has their own way of keeping score. Everybody does things differently. So when you see a strikeout, when you record a strikeout,
Yeah,
what do you
hold
put
strike
down?
out. I put 4K, and if I struck out looking, and I put back to K.
Yeah, you know, one of my favorite things going to a baseball game is
Oh,
when you
yes.
first get there and you walk up the ramp and you see the greenness. It's so green of the grass. And it just seems so alive and wonderful. We got to go to more games.
Oh, I
We've
wanna
done a
do
couple of John's Crazy Sox games when we bought a lot of seats in
that.
center
A
field
lot
that
of fun.
invited people.
A lot of
You
fun.
got out on the field for those games.
Right? I really want to.
Yeah.
And my dream come true.
What?
I never did it before. Someday I want to throw.
Throw out the first pitch? I used to think that was a great honor. But it was a great honor if you got to do it. It turns out, you know how you can do it now?
Yeah.
Just pay enough money.
Oh yeah. We're gonna have it sell both socks.
Sell more socks. Yeah. So maybe we should call up the Mets. Call up Mr. Met. Say, Mr. Met.
Mr. Met.
John would like to throw out pitch first game. Why don't we let him do that? So, you want to hear a funny baseball story? Not during a baseball game.
Really?
So, now it's a long time ago. Summer of 2001. Summer of our lost innocence. That's when I did a road trip around the country with your brothers.
Oh yeah, Dan Patrick.
And
Yeah.
we're in Chicago one day, and we rented bicycles. So Patrick was going into the 6th grade, I think Jamie in the 3rd grade. Jamie was tough. We rented bicycles. We rode all around Chicago. It was great fun. And we rode out to Wrigley Field.
We could have seen.
Now,
Yeah.
you've been to Wrigley Field. We went to a game.
I
That's-
remember that.
It's the second oldest stadium in baseball. Do you know which one is older?
Say that?
Do you know which one is older? That's the second oldest one. Do you know which one is older than Wrigley?
Maybe I forget.
You know what city?
Yes.
What?
Chicago.
No, well, that's where Wrigley is. The oldest one is in Boston.
Oh yeah, in
Fenway
Boston.
Park. We got to
Yeah.
get you up there. Anyway, so we're fooling around on our bicycles. The Cubs are out of town. But I stopped. We right up to Wrigley, and I said, you know what? Maybe we can go see the field. So we go in the offices, and I got my 2 sons, and I say, could we go out and look on the field? And the gentleman behind the desk says, that's okay, you can do it. You can go out in the stands. But don't leave the stands. You can't go on the field. So that's what we do. We go out in the stands, we look around. It's fun, it's beautiful. The kids like it. Your brothers liked it. But you know me. Rules? Who follows rules?
I do.
I don't always follow the rules. So you know what I did? We went out on the field.
Oh my God!
We pretended to take batting practice. We were at home plate, hung out in the dugout, had a great old time. Nobody said anything to us. We're out there. Then we go to leave.
Kick you out?
Well, no, nobody said anything. Now we go to leave. We walk up through the stands. We walk through the offices. And the guy at the desk turns around and smiles and looks at me and says, and you stayed in the stands, right? And that's when I could see behind his desk, he had all these TV screens. He was watching us every moment. He knew we went out on the field.
Oh my God!
But that was okay. That was a fun time.
The best.
So
yeah.
I went to Shea Stadium. You know, my dad would bring me to games. I saw Sandy Koufax. I don't really remember this. Pitch a no-hitter.
Right.
Went to a lot of Met games. Lots and lots of Met games, particularly in the 80s, because your mom and I were living in the stadium. 1986, your mom was going to law school at night. I was home, and then I would go up to a lot of games by myself. The Mets won the World Series that year.
All right.
And we got to go to I got to go to game 1. My friend Gary got me a ticket. And you know who I sat with? Brian McShane.
Prime machine?
We had a great time.
Oh wow.
And then we were at game 7. They played the Red Sox. Now, game 6 is the famous one, but what people often don't remember is the Mets were losing game 7 until Darryl Strawberry came to the plate. Darryl was one of the most beautiful players I ever saw. And he hit a home run with his big, beautiful swing, so graceful. I think that ball may still be flying. Anyway, baseball, that's good. And you like keeping score,
I do. I love baseballs.
right? And that's the type of thing. Somebody would say, well, he's got Down syndrome. He can't keep score. Of course he can keep score. And you do a great job of it.
I did.
I like him so it keeps you in the game. Keeps you paying attention. Love baseball. Pretty
Yes.
cool. Okay, what else we have on the agenda today? We said we talk about baseball. This afternoon, you ran into one of the frustrations of modern life. You had to go buy something. What did you have to buy?
I have to buy my iPad charger.
Right. John loves his devices.
I do.
Your iPhone, your iPad, your Surface. You take very good care of them.
I did.
But the charger kind of broke.
Yeah, my charger are not working. Next couple of days, probably my charger will bend.
John, you know what? Everybody listening has had that happen. You know what? Some people think is they design it that way, that after a certain time it just breaks, and then you got to buy a new one. And then they keep coming up with new models. And every time they come up with a new model, you got to get a different type of charger, because my charger may not work on your iPad because I got an older iPad. Kind of crazy. So you went out. You had to go looking for this charger.
Yes, I did.
Where'd you go first?
First, I went to First Drugs, and I went there first, and one little comes out that it's not a lot of options. My iPad had a different model.
So they didn't have the one for your model. Then where'd you go?
I went to AT&T.
Now, once again, you did this by yourself.
I did by myself.
I offered to help you, but what'd you say? You got it.
I got it by myself.
Because what do we live by? With us.
With us, not for us.
I'm always willing to help, but you can do this by yourself.
I did. And I tell you really cool,
Yeah.
Mom,
Yeah.
I had a big favor from my mom.
Okay.
She wanted me bring home chicken.
Oh, she wanted some chicken, so she gave you a little grocery list to go to the
Grocery
grocery
list.
store. Because while Mom is out having a fine time with Jamie, you and I got to fend for ourselves tonight.
Yeah. I figured this out by myself,
Of course you did.
and I did.
What?
After I did, I called Mom. I FaceTime Mom.
Uh-huh.
I FaceTime Mom on my phone, and I turned the camera to the products. And Mom said, that's what I need.
That is smart. You are a good problem solver. You know what I do? If Mom gives me something and
Right.
says, get this, I'll buy 5 different items to make sure I get the right one.
Right. Oh,
And then I come home and she says, why'd you buy 5 different items?
right.
I said, because I can't be wrong.
Right. I saw my problem. When I left the grocery store,
Yeah?
I was very smart. I saw problems.
What?
We go to the store, I buy things,
Yeah?
and then I better pay my credit card. Mom pay, like you mom pay,
Right?
paying that card, kept the one. The card declined,
Oh,
and I did,
what?
and I used my debit card for backup. And when I left the credit store, and first thing I did, immediately, I called Mom.
There you go. Let her know.
I let her know.
Very good, buddy.
And Mom said,
What?
she will call.
Oh, call the
And
credit card company.
a
Because it should
credit
have
card
been done.
company.
But sometimes that happens. The machine doesn't read it right.
And-
But you did the right thing, buddy.
And Mom cleared away.
Oh, very good.
I said I didn't know.
So that's cool. Now, you got some bad news today.
I have bad news. I'm not happy.
Go ahead. What's that about?
I really look forward a speed dating.
A speed dating.
I was look forward to it. I feel heartbroken for me because I'm really excited and I want to meet someone.
I know you do. How do you introduce yourself now when speaking engagement?
Oh yes,
What?
I'm 28. I'm single and I am eligible.
Eligible. Because you
And-
would like to have a girlfriend.
Right.
Because, John, at some point, you'd like to get married.
I want to get married sometime. And also,
Yeah?
right before this show, I talked to my dad.
Right.
I think an idea, maybe my parents, my mom, my dad, probably are hooking me up a project.
So, you would like us to maybe find a woman you could date and set you up on a blind date. Let me tell you something. I'm willing to try to help you any way I can. But I want you to run that past your brothers, particularly Jamie, and say, Jamie, you're single. Would you like mom and dad to set you up on a date? See his reaction.
Okay.
You're pretty special, buddy. Well, but this is a challenge, right? You're 28.
Yeah,
You meet a fair number of women,
I do.
except a lot of that's when we're traveling. So you meet a nice woman, like there was a dinner you were at with the
Yeah.
National Down Syndrome
Yeah,
Society.
I with Ken Winnie.
And he's talking to this woman, they're hitting it off and everything is great, but she lives in Florida.
Yeah.
And it's hard to start a
I,
relationship like that.
It's really hard for me that long distance.
So your mom and I had a long distance relationship at one point. But we had already been together, we had already been married for 3 years. And so we had this really good foundation. And what it was I went away to graduate school. That's when I went up to
Right.
the Kennedy School.
Absolutely.
So we were living in New York. Your mom, Carol, was working full time. This was an interesting situation. She was working full time and going to law school at night. So she's working 35 hours a week and going to law school at night, which is almost like going to school full time. I went away to graduate school. I was
Yeah.
going to school full time and working part time. And I pieced together some different jobs, working 35 hours a week. I
Right.
think I was the only person at the Kennedy School over there at Harvard working so many hours to pay the bills. But so we were married, and during the school year, I'm living up in Boston, living in Cambridge.
Right.
You know, the first year I lived with Paul and Ann.
Oh, yes.
They wanted to see what it would be like to have a kid, so they let me stay there. I think that's why they didn't have kids for a bunch of years. No, that was good. Lived out in Dorchester, under the highway next to the T.
Right.
That was a good time. And then the next year, rented a house with my friend Paul Dragowski, you know Paul,
Right.
and
Yeah.
Jim Fayer. That was kind of fun. That was kind of wild. I played to that song by Todd Rundgren, actually. He was with a band called Rund. We got to get you a woman.
Oh, yeah.
We got to get you a woman, John. Somehow. I mean, I'm not going to do it for you. I'm an old married man. What do I know? But you're charming. You know, you got a job. You ought to be desirable. We'll find you a woman. Does that sound good?
That.
High five, bud. Okay, let's turn to some of our regular things today. What do you want to do first? The good news story or business of the week?
I want to share the good news story. That makes me really happy.
So, do you want to tell people what it's about?
Yes. The good news story about an instant bone could reveal how a Neanderthal care for a child with Down syndrome.
Right. So they found evidence of some Neanderthals caring for a child who had Down syndrome. Now, I'm going to try to explain some of this to you. It might be a little complicated.
Absolutely.
Neanderthals don't exist anymore. They were a precursor to what today are humans. Because there is this process called evolution, where organisms continually evolve
Right.
to adapt and procreate. So humans came along and they kind of surpassed Neanderthals, and Neanderthals faded out. And the scientific view, both the common view and the scientific view, is that Neanderthals were quite crude and they didn't have a lot of empathy. But here you go, in a cave in Spain where some Neanderthals had lived. They found a bone and they were able to do some tests. I'm not sure how they were able to figure this out, but they identified that that bone belonged to a 6-year-old child with Down syndrome. Well, you know what that meant?
Yeah.
That meant that group of Neanderthals were taking care of that child. Where previously the image would have been, well, if that child needed help or was injured, they just would have let it die. They would have left it behind. So that's pretty amazing.
Right.
This goes back 140,000 years. Wow. Okay, we'll go to our good news business of the week. It's our good friends down in Philadelphia.
Dance Happy Design.
Dance Happy Designs, our friends Julia, Liv, and Emily. They are just like us on a mission to empower people and show what people can do. They produce these amazing silk screen print, these fabric items, handcrafted textile products from their designs. It's very cool how they got together. So Emily had a store, and she sold fashion goods and items. And Julia, who has Down syndrome, came to work in the store, and Liv was Julia's coach.
Wow.
So she was there working part-time for 7 years. But then Julia needed a full-time job, and she was going to have to leave. And over those 7 years, Julia and Liv and Emily had become good friends. So they were trying to figure out, how do we make this work? Well, Liv has a background as an artist. She taught Julia how to do silkscreen patterns on canvas. And that's when they figured out they could create what is today Dance Happy Designs. So you've seen them. We have some in the house, and we've sold them to our store. They make little bags, and they make these patterns and designs. They've been recognized on TV and hailed for the work they do. Some of their items, you know what stores they're in? They're in Nordstrom's. They're in Madewell stores.
Wow.
Plus boutiques all across the country. Dance Happy Designs. You gotta check them out.
A really good business.
You like their stuff? We introduced them out to our friends at All for One, the store out in
I thought so.
Southold. They carry their products. So go check out your favorite boutique, see if they have Dance Happy Designs, or go to their website. It's a very complicated website, the URL. Very complicated. You think people would be able to find it? You know what it is? dancehappydesigns.com. How about that?
About that.
How about that? All right, you got some jokes to tell?
I do.
Let's tell some jokes, joke boy.
I had knock jokes.
Knock jokes.
Right,
John
yeah.
loves his themes.
I do.
All right, let's do knock jokes.
Knock.
Who's there?
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears who?
Knock.
Who's there?
Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again.
Oops, I did it again. All right, what do you get? Nobody laughs harder at your jokes than you do.
Yes.
Okay.
Knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock.
Who's there? Banana. Banana who?
Knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Orange just because I didn't say banana.
Okay.
Knock.
Who's there?
Mary.
Mary who?
Merry Christmas. Knock.
Who's there?
Oh, Randy.
Ariana Grande who?
Okay, boomer.
Are you done? Okay. So I have some jokes. They're not knock jokes. So a man is walking through the woods when he sees a bear, and the bear starts charging at him. He starts running, but he knows he can't outrun that bear. So he starts praying. He's a very devout Christian man. He starts praying. Dear Lord, I beg of you, please, oh Lord, please let this bear be a Christian. Well, the bear catches up to him, knocks him down on the ground, and just when the man thinks the bear's going to reach down and eat him, the bear stops. And he gets on his knees, and he says, the bear starts talking and says, Dear Lord, thank you for the food I'm about to eat. He found the Christian bear, okay? All right. How about a little math joke?
Okay, I love that.
Kind of a math joke. It's set in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So there are four men, and they're in the hospital waiting room. And they're waiting for their wives to deliver babies. And after a while, a nurse goes up to the first man and says, "Congratulations, you are the father of twins." The man is so happy. And then he looks and says, "But you know what's interesting? I just had twins. I work for the Minnesota Twins." A little while later, the nurse comes back, goes up to the second man and says, "Congratulations, you are the father of triplets." The man says, "Wow, and I work for the 3M company." The nurse comes back, goes up to the third guy and says, "Congratulations, you are the father of quadruplets, 4 kids." He says, "Oh, and I work for the Four Seasons Hotel." As this happens, the last man stands up, starts groaning and banging his head against the wall. And the other guys look at him and say, "What's the matter?" He says, "I work for 7-Up." Are you laughing? Yeah, you're laughing, you're cracking up? All right, I'll give you one more. 3 friends are stranded on a desert isle. And they find a magic lamp. And they rub the lamp, and out pops a genie. And the genie looks at them and says, "Oh, there are 3 of you. Okay, instead of 3 wishes, I'm going to give you each 1 wish." So the first guy, his wish is, he says, "I've been stranded on this island. I want to go home." Boom! Vanishes. The genie is sent him home. The second guy says, "I want the same thing. I want to go home to my wife and kids." Boom! Vanishes because the genie has sent him home. The third guy starts rubbing his chin and says, "You know, I miss my friends so much. I wish my friends were with me." Boom! The 2 friends come back. Okay, no more. That's the end of the jokes. People, we hope we have entertained you. We hope we have put a smile on your face as you've heard about John's baseball adventures,
Yes,
about hanging with his mom,
I did you.
and you heard about buying cords for devices,
I did.
and John's dating woes.
Yep.
You heard the good news story about discovering that at least some of the Neanderthals had some empathy and caring in them. You heard about a great business, Dan's Happy Design. And you heard John's knock-knock jokes. You're still laughing, aren't you?
I am.
Folks, thank you for listening. Listen, if you like it, we hope you would give us a 5-star review. Go to your favorite podcast platform, like Apple iTunes, and give us a review. You like those reviews, don't you?
I do.
And that helps other people find us. If you like it, just share the podcast. Let other people know. You know, if you're watching us on Facebook, let other people know. Share this. Share the happiness. And if you want to subscribe, we'd love it if you subscribed. You got anything else? You think we're done for the week?
Yes.
All right. You can always check us out where?
At John'sCrazySocks.com.
John'sCrazySocks.com. We're on all the major, all the
Yes.
social media platforms. Catch John dancing on TikTok.
I am.
You like all that. Instagram, Facebook. It's lots of fun. As we just try to connect with our community. If you want great socks, where can you get them?
At John'sCrazySocks.com.
You're going to get great socks. So we have more choice than anybody else. How many?
4,000 different kinds of socks.
More choice than anybody else. You're going to get socks you love, socks you can give as a gift that you love. We got over 30,000 5-star reviews. They're going to ship same day. But here's what's even better. When you buy from us, you help us employ people with different abilities. More than half of our colleagues have a different ability. You help us give back John here has donated over $750,000 to our charity partners. And most of all, you're going to help us
Spread happiness.
spread happiness. All right. Say goodnight, John.
Connect, Tracy.
Good night.